Right, so in our game right now, when we get hit by an enemy, you can see the only indication that we're losing hearts is that it prints the hearts over to the side here, and same thing with the gems. When we collect the gems, all we're doing is getting a number on the screen because we've just been doing it with print statements. So I can lose some more hearts here, and you can see. So what I want to do in this video is show you how we can make like a heads-up display that displays all of the attributes of our hero here. And what I would like to do is show the score of the game right here. I'm going to put little heart icons here for each heart that the hero has. And over in the upper right corner, I'm going to do a count of the gems. So I'm going to move and let's jump into the code. All right, so first thing I want to do is kind of deal with the scoring, and I'm going into my hero class, and I am keeping track of hearts and gems, but so far in my game, I haven't even done anything related to scoring, so I'm going to add score into the game, and we'll just start it out with 0 points, and there's nothing in the game that gives the hero points at this point, so the only thing we can do right now is collect gems, and right now I just have it increasing the character's gem count. So we're passing the hero in as the character, and so I'm just going to say character.score, and we'll give 10 points for collecting a gem. You can, or whatever. So, but however many points you want to give, that's fine. Later on, when we kill enemies and reach goals and stuff like that, we can find other ways to add scores to the game. All right, so that takes care of that. Now, the other thing I want to do, since we're going to start putting some text on the screen, just a little prep work, is I'm going to load some fonts. And so I'm probably ultimately I'm going to have several different font sizes loaded, but just for this purpose, for the purpose of getting stats on the screen, I'm going to make a medium and a small size font. And so I'm just going to make my variable font medium. And I'm going to do pygame.font. So let's say capital font for the second one. And I'm going to do the font family and the size. And so I'm going to go over to my assets folder. And the font I chose is this Dinomouse Regular. It's an open type font. Okay, if you have a different font, it might be TTF or OTF. It'll be either one of those. Pygame will support. And I'm going to make it 32 pixels. And I'm going to copy and paste that line. And let's make a small font also. And I'll make that 24 pixels. And that should be enough to get me through. I also want to put heart icons on my screen as well. So I've got a gem image, and the heart I'm going to use is in images, items, and I have a heart icon right here that's I've cropped to be small like the gem. And so I'm going to load the heart image. And so it's in the items folder, and it's just called heart. Okay, so now we've got that work done. So now we can actually think about getting some graphics right up on the screen. And so the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a helper function. And I think the best place to put that is going to be, let's see, I'll do it before my setup stuff, but after I make all my classes. So I'm just going to kind of put a comment here to create a section. Right, and this is where I'm going to put all the functions that I'm going to use to extra functions I'm going to create to make the game work. Right, so it's instead of putting a bunch of code inside the game loop, we'll keep the game loop nice and short, and we'll use some functions we make up here. So I'm going to say def, and I'm going to show HUD for heads up display. Right now I'm just going to put a pass statement here so we can kind of get the structure worked out, and I'm going to go down to the drawing code, and I'm going to do make a call to my show HUD function, the very last line in the drawing code. So this function here is going to put text and icons up on the screen, and since we have it last in the drawing code, it'll be atop everything else. All right, it'll be the frontmost text and images. So we'll get in here. Let's deal with the score first. And so we need to render some text. And so make a variable for text. And we're going to pick a font. I'm going to try my medium font. And by the way, you can change the font sizes, all you want. This is, this is another case where I'm just kind of guessing at numbers and seeing how it looks. And I'll mess with it more later. And so I'm going to just medium font, and then it's .render. And by the way, this is also not code I would memorize, right? I am looking at a reference right now. I have to Google this every time. And so I'm going to take I want to do the hero score. So that's the text I want to put on the screen. I'm going to do true because I want my text anti-aliased. Means like smooth edges. If you change that to false, what you're going to get is more like blocky pixel text, which actually might be appropriate if you have sort of a pixel art game, but my artwork isn't like that, so I want everything nice and smooth. And then I pick a color, and it's going to be white. The other thing we're going to have here is, and I'm going to run this so we can see the error message. Right? It says, oops, anyway, I got to fix my font first. Okay. When I loaded my fonts, I forgot to say assets fonts. Now there's still going to be an error message in the show HUD function, and I want to see that before I fix it. And it says text must be a Unicode or bytes. And remember, hero score is a number. It's not a string. That's what they mean. They're looking for a string. And so what I have to do is just wrap this in the str function, and then it'll compile. Now we want to actually position this text on the screen. So I'm going to position by using its rectangle. So we're going to grab the rectangle that surrounds the text, and then we can set the position of the rectangle. And so, but when I position this, right, what I'm looking to do is I want it centered on the screen, and I want to push it a certain number of pixels down. So you can position by like the upper left-hand corner, the upper right-hand corner, the center of a rectangle. You can also position by the middle of edges. And so this particular point in Pygame is called mid-top. And if you want to know all the names of all the other locations around the rectangle, I would Google Pygame rect and rectangle class, and you'll see all the things you can do. So I'm going to position by the mid-top. And so I'll say rect.mid top is equal to, and I'm going to say width divided by 2, comma, and this is going to be a point, and I'm just going to say 16. And these are guessing numbers here. So width divided by 2 is the middle of the screen. I'm using the double divide just in case that my width is odd, so I don't want this to come out to be a decimal because there's no such thing as a half pixel. And then we're going to push the text 16 pixels down from the edge of the screen. And so then I just say screen.blit, and I'm going to do the text, comma, the rectangle. And now we've got our score on the screen. And I'm going to go grab a gem and see if I get some points. And I got my 10 points, and I'll go get the other gem. Maybe. My little enemies are too close. I can't do this. Okay, so the scoring works. All right, so now let's think about how we could do the gem count on the screen. And so I am going to, first thing I want to do is just blit the gem. And so I'm going to say screen.blit, and I'm going to do the gem image. Now we got to pick a coordinate for this. This is a place where I'm definitely going to do some guessing and then adjusting. I'm going to say the screen width, and I'm just going to minus. I don't want it to be all the way on the edge of the screen, so I'm just going to minus 128, and then I want the image to be 16 pixels down to be consistent with the rest of the text. And let's see what we get. Got my parentheses right here. Okay, so I got the gem on the screen. Now I want to put a little times like the number of gems I have here. So I'm going to render some text. Copy that. And this time it's going to be gems. And we'll get the rect. And this time I'm going to position by the, I'll do the top left. And I'm going to set it to Okay, so I want it to be a little bit to the edge of the, I want it to be to the left of the gem. And so I'm gonna look at my gem image, and it's, let's see, it is 35 pixels wide. So 128, we'll subtract 35 plus a little bit. How about 90 from the edge? And I'll also make it 16 down. And then this line, and we'll blip the text on the screen and see how this looks. And that's a straight one. Okay. With, we don't need the brackets around that, so let me, with minus 90 comma 16 is fine. Okay. And yeah, I don't quite like how it looks. Let's see. I'm going to put a little times in there. Okay, so it looks kind of okay. Let me see if I can play around with this a little bit more. I'm going to change this to the small font, and I'm going to nudge it down just a little bit more. Oh, and wrong. I want to nudge the text down, not the gem. And so let's see. Okay, and I think that looks pretty good. Let's see. What the most number of gems I might get? Let's say maybe I'm just going to test out. Let's start here with 100 gems. We'll do like Mario, where once you reach 100, or maybe 99 is the most you can get, and then the next one you get an extra life or something like that. So let's see. All right, so now I have a bigger number here, and I think I want to nudge it over a little bit more towards the edge of the screen. So, if I want to do that, I kind of like the spacing. Let's see, we'll go down here. And again, I'm just trying to show you how you can experiment with stuff. So I'm just going to do maybe 100 pixels and subtract a little bit from this, and I'll make that 60. How about? So, and I like that better. Okay, up in the corner. Again, you depending on the font you select and the font sizes you choose, you're just going to have to adjust all these numbers to make it look right on your screen. All right, so last, let's go ahead and put some hearts up in the corner here. So I'm going to do this with a loop. And so I'm going to say I'm just going to say for I in range, and we're going to loop through all of the hearts that the hero has. So it's hero.hearts. And what I want to do is make a coordinate for where I'm going to put the hearts. And so my heart image is about the same size as the gem. It's, this one's like 28 pixels wide or so. So what I want to do is just make this I times, and I'm just going to pick something bigger than the width of the image. So the image is 28, so I'm just going to guess 36. Okay, so what I want to do is have a heart icon drawn every 36 pixels. Since they're 28 pixels wide, that should leave a little bit of a gap in between, and I can make this number bigger or smaller to adjust the spacing. I'm going to make the Y 16. So this will be how far down the heart's going to go, just like everything else. And so I'll say screen.blit, and I'll do heart image, and we'll do X comma Y, and we'll just see what it looks like. Okay, so that's almost what I want, but really I would like to just push this off the edge of the screen just a tiny bit. And so what I want to do here is we'll just do a little adjustment to the X. So it's going to be, right, so this is, by the way, we have up to 3 hearts, so this is going to count 0, 1, 2. So when I is 0, then X is 0. When I is 1, then X is 36. When I is 2, X is 72. So I don't want when X is 0, or when I is 0, I don't want my heart blitted at 0 pixels over, so we'll just add a little adjustment. And I've kind of been using 16 consistently as a distance from the edge of the screen, so let's try it out. So now this is going to be Everything should be shifted to the right a little bit. And all right, I think I like everything here. I'm going to go back and, okay, so everything looks good. Let me see when I get hit if the hearts go away. And that seems to be working. And all gone now, so I like that. We haven't put anything in to cause any harm to the player. The hearts go away. The player doesn't, lose a life or anything yet. We'll worry about that later. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do is just go reset that back to 0 because I just changed it to a big number for testing. So I'm going to go up to my hero, and initial gem count will be 0, and I'm going to test this one more time just to make sure everything works. So hit, I lose a heart, my gems get picked up, that's working, and lastly, when I collect the gems, all right, I'm getting the points. So it looks like everything works. So anyway, that's how I would implement a heads-up display for our game. You might at some point want to make it, not only have hearts for your player, but maybe lives. Like when you run out of hearts, you lose a life. We could do a little hero icon here with the times the number, just kind of like this, like the times the number of lives somewhere on the screen, maybe. If there's any other items you collect, like keys and stuff like that, I think you should be able to figure out, how to get more information on the screen. So anyway, that's it for this video, and hope everything made sense, and you can just let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for listening.